vitalism is a deep understanding that everything is biointelligent. If I was going to create something all-knowing and all-healing, I would put it inside. It would be a felt sense and experience.
They told me I have a brain tumor, a heart defect. I was fainting all the time. I just felt like a broken human being. And vitalism was the first time I ever heard that, no, like there's actually something right within you.
Is my intention to fix you and to remove all your baggage and be the doctor that heals you? No, not at all. This is your journey, and I don't get to do it for you. Welcome to the Vitalist Podcast, where healing meets wonder. This is your space to gain transformative knowledge, deepen your mind-body connection, and awaken your human spirit. If you're ready to connect with your innate potential, embrace life's challenges, and expand what you believe is possible, this is the place. Get ready to slow down, be moved, and live like a true vitalist.
This is our first podcast together for our people. And I think it would be a good idea to unpack maybe why we started the Vitalist, what is vitalism, and how we can embody vitalism in our everyday lives.
Well, I think we started this podcast for the educational component, for what we do at Kinfolk Optimal Living, which is a really gentle approach to chiropractic care. And it's the message of innate intelligence doesn't really land for people, and they don't know how to embody it, and then they don't know how to take that messaging and apply it to their life. So I think this podcast was, let's interview all the people that have this shared common denominator of there's something innately wired within us, and there's an intelligence that animates who we are.
Why do you think people miss this key aspect of their bodies?
Because we're not taught it. I mean, when did you grow up with there's this beautiful intelligence that orchestrates how your body behaves at a cellular, at a physiological level, and a structural level as well? And what builds us? You know, the story of conception, you and I both share, that was like a light bulb moment of, oh, there's an electricity that allowed sperm and egg to come together, and then that one cell became 100 trillion cells. Like, I just feel like kids don't know that power.
Take me back to that moment you heard that story for the first time.
Well, we were with Autumn in Dallas. Dr. Autumn, she was the first vitalistic chiropractor I would say that we found. And she told me, she literally opened up the book of how we're born, and she showed like just a picture of sperm and egg and the electric spark and how that energy is carried through into developing a human being. And I just remember sitting there going, why doesn't anyone know this? Why isn't anyone talking about this? Why isn't anyone teaching this? And it just opened up so many different ways of seeing life and appreciating the human body.
Which belief system did it immediately override for you?
I think self-worth, and also that we matter. I don't know. That sounds maybe a little dark, but I think, you know, I'm 21, 22 years old. You're at an age where you're like, what's the point? What do I want to do with my life? Am I on the right path? And I think that moment really helped me see that it doesn't matter where you are. What matters is that you're connected to who you are. And so I think that really started the journey of uncovering who I was at like a spiritual level, more than just, you know, becoming a doctor, becoming a chiropractor, becoming the perfect daughter, and, you know, getting married, having kids. And I really just sat with myself and just wanted to love myself and take care of myself and to put good food in my body and to have good thoughts and to understand these emotions that I've been burying in my body.
When I heard conception for the first time, the story of conception from Autumn, to me, the biggest impact was there was actually something right within me. Because I think I went into chiropractic school feeling very broken, very much in pieces, very much thinking that there was something always inherently wrong with me. And vitalism was the first time I ever heard that, no, like there's actually something right within you, and it's animating you, and it's with you 24/7. And that made me pause and be like, oh my gosh, like no one had ever looked me in the eye and said, you are inherently whole, and there's this beautiful intelligence within you. Vitalism just shifted this paradigm of I'm broken to I'm whole. And maybe this is why I'm obsessed with embryo, is when you understand how your body unfolds from that point of conception onward.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's incredible. I mean, in the womb, you just don't bolt on legs and arms. Like you unfold from one cell.
Like, what makes you fall in love with that? What lights you up?
It's just, oh my God, it's so beautiful.
Why?
Because it gives it meaning. To me, it gives it meaning.
There you go.
When I look at your body and I'm like, wow, you built this as an expression of your spirit. How can I not just have reverence for every part of you and see it as an integrated whole? It's impossible.
Yeah. I think this goes back to you felt so broken and disconnected, and understanding that there's an intelligence and a spirit is what created the connection to all those broken parts.
Mm-hmm.
And that is life-changing. How is that not?
I mean, y'all, when you hear the story of how your heart forms, which we are going to have a guest on here, it'll change your life.
It'll change the
You'll
way
never
you feel
think of your heart as a pump again.
No, absolutely not. So how do you take that concept and apply it to how you adjust, why you adjust, and how you live your life?
Well, I think when you approach people with this understanding of this innate intelligence within them, you're connecting to something deeper than just the physical. And I feel like you're able to approach people with reverence for the being inside the body as opposed to just showing up and like manipulating their physical body. You're seeing them in their essence. And I think that's what makes our care feel so different, is you're being felt on a completely different level. And our language is there to mirror to you that, no, you are inherently whole. And what you're experiencing in your body is a reflection of what's right within you.
Well, let's dive into some examples of vitalism in the body, because I think a lot of people, they might be able to understand through the story of conception the way we did, but it's not like we heard that one story and then we're like, oh, vitalism, vitalism, vitalism. It was a process. It was almost like this unfolding discovery of like discovering awe within the body, discovering awe in nature, the discovery of even symptoms and what symptoms can mean and how they can point to whatever direction we're headed in our life.
Don't you think, though, that vitalism, in its essence, is a relationship of trust?
I don't know. Vitalism is a trust. It's a surrendering. It's an honest, and it's a deep appreciation for whatever you are experiencing in the moment.
Yeah. So can you take me back to an experience you had in chiropractic school when we were first embodying this essence of vitalism, that you had a defining moment of old conditioning versus stepping into this new way of relating to life?
Well, I feel like Autumn, going back to my first chiropractic adjustment with her, it's like she's feeling your body and you're like, okay, I get that. Structural stuff. Maybe there's some asymmetry in the body. Maybe there's tension. We can all get on board with that. But it wasn't until she was in a certain area of my body and you could tell she just stopped and paused and felt that area. And then emotions came up. And I couldn't tell you what the emotion was or why it was there, but I could tell you it was the deep felt sense of just, I wanted a mother and I wanted to be loved by my mother. And that emotion was sitting somewhere in my body and it was unwinding and it was coming through to the surface. And she just held me. And it's like, how did she know how to do that? Did she even know what the emotion was that was coming through me? Did she feel something in my body? You know, I think it just helped me connect that there's so much inside us and we aren't even aware of it. And we have so much of our history in our life that goes unprocessed, that goes unseen, and we stuff it down inside. And it takes that space and that time and that person to kind of become that mirror and to give you the space to just receive who you are and to be who you are.
Like, why is it imperative that we start changing the narrative around just our relationship to our bodies?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's our story of how it changed us. And then we see people coming to us and they're struggling. They're struggling, they're hurting. And I mean, you would love to just give them the right book. You would love to just say the right thing, but it's a deconditioning of so much culture and so much programming. And you're not going to get that overnight. You're not going to get that with one adjustment. I think what you're trying to do is you're trying to teach people how to unlearn everything we've learned that makes us feel incomplete and disconnected. And it's a tall order. I hope just each episode just shows a little bit more light on how we can listen deeper, feel more, think about things differently, just expand the mind a little bit. Like when you send people the podcast, what is your hope for them?
I just think back, honestly, to when we got into chiropractic school. And Vitalism, it changed my life. I mean, I feel like most people just see us now, right? But who were you when you entered chiropractic school?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was disconnected. I was chasing things, egotistical. I was shut down, angry. I was not where I am today.
Right. I mean, I came into chiropractic school, I'm sure you can remember, like super shy, afraid to talk to anybody, had zero voice, completely shut down, completely disconnected from my body. I felt so broken. I felt so alone, isolated. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't worthy enough. I just felt like a broken human being.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even say being. I felt like a broken human. I didn't even know there was a being inside my human. And then we met Autumn, and she is, again, the first person who said that there's something right within you. I don't think anyone had ever said that to me before. Mm-hmm. And it's so sad because my experience getting into chiropractic was a health journey. I mean, I had lost my health. I was going through every single medical professional. They told me I have a brain tumor, a heart defect. I was fainting all the time. And they were all trying to figure out what was wrong with me. And I mean, I was in the hospital for 1.5 years, and it wasn't until one chiropractor put all of the pieces together and made sense of what was going on in my life mentally, emotionally, physically, and tied it all together into this big picture of, wow, your body is a representation of all parts of who you are. And we can make sense and we can make meaning to everything that's happening in your body because it's all connected. And so that one adjustment literally transformed my health overnight. And then I went into chiropractic school, and that's when I got introduced to the philosophy of chiropractic, which is Vitalism. And that helped me heal spiritually and emotionally and mentally. And that's what I hope for this podcast is we are able to pass that forward.
That's it. That's what this podcast is. Into the heart. And Vitalism is a heart-based way of living. It's not living in your head and intellectualizing and knowing all the science. So I hope when people listen to it, it's not just about intellectually understanding mitochondria. It's not about intellectually understanding the nerve system. It's about experiencing it and knowing it lives in you and that there is some animating magic and life force that allows us to experience it. You can't experience life without it.
It's so interesting. So many people, and if you think of like the nerve system physiology, most people live in a chronic state of stress, whether that's activation of their fight or flight, or that's activation of their shutdown, which disconnects them to different parts of their bodies based on which neural centers are being activated or disconnected from. So for example, the feet one, I hope you're looking down at your own feet and connecting to the intelligence of your feet, not this intellectual mental construct of a foot.
Yeah, like understanding the barefoot science, but not feeling like your barefootedness. It's the embodying piece.
Yes.
How do you get people to listen to a podcast and embody the teaching? And actually, this is what learning and growth and evolution is. It's integrating what you're observing and learning and becoming aware of, and then applying it inward.
How would you describe the difference between holism and vitalism?
Well, I think holism is holistic. So it makes us feel whole, right? Like the body's very connected and our emotions are connected and our mind is connected to our body. Vitalism is a deep understanding that everything is biointelligent, not just in the body, but even the way our body interacts with our environment and how our environment interacts with our body.
Holistic practitioners are great because they see all of the parts of your body, and there is this interconnectedness, interplay between all the parts. But where vitalism stands apart from that is you are whole, you are complete, but fundamentally there's this biointelligence.
Well, this is perfect. Let's do an example. Because someone's coming to us and they have all these symptoms. They don't feel whole. They don't feel connected. And in fact, that's the last thing they want to hear from us. You know, they want us to acknowledge that, hey, something's wrong, or there's a broken piece that needs to be fixed. They want that acknowledgement. But I think vitalism, if they're ready to receive it, is stepping back and being like, why did you create this? How did you create this process in time? Because like you said, you don't just wake up with a headache. You don't just wake up with things going misarray in the body. So why do you think people go? I feel like kids are naturally vitalists. You know, I feel like we are so curious about the world. Everything is like new to us. There's a novelty experience. Your mind is just so open. You haven't been put in a classroom to think about the world in a certain box kind of way. And yeah, you're in awe of everything. Like the clouds are so cool. The sun, why it rises and sets, you know, where food comes from. Like look at kids that go to a garden and realize like you can grow food in the earth, and then we eat and consume the food, and then we poop. Like as a kid, I think you are naturally at your most vitalistic state. And then we lose it. We start going more mechanistic is what we kind of term it. And then you're getting raised in a culture with bombarded by advertisements and then whatever your parents believe or whatever your peers believe. And then they project this whole new way of like putting things in a box and labeling everything and defining everything in a way that disconnects you from intuitively interacting with it and feeling it. So how do you get people to reverse back and go back to that inward curiosity as a child?
As children, I think if you are not feeling well, your parents instantly think there's something wrong with you. I think that's the first thing. And instead of asking the child questions, we immediately say, "Ooh, we got to take you to the doctor." And they're going to give you something to fix you. And I think that's immediately we give our power away, right? To something external to the intelligence. And we're not teaching our children to first, I mean, there's always a time and place to get outside support, but to first tune into what could this potentially be communicating to me, because something in my body is creating meaningful messages. And if I create a pause and encourage my children to just look beyond, ooh, there's something that's wrong, that's uncomfortable, and we should immediately suppress it, instead of there's something that needs to be listened to.
And like Sachin's episode, you know, if I was going to create something all-knowing and all-healing and that could connect us to our planet and our universe, I would put it inside. It would be a felt sense and experience. And unfortunately, we live in a world where modern society has disconnected us from that felt sense and experience. And they're saying, no, you need to take this supplement or this medication, or you need to have X, Y, and Z, and all these material things that just keep disconnecting us from our own power, like you said.
I mean, I even think back to studies where indigenous tribes, for example, an indigenous tribe in Alaska would go and kill a whale, and they would take the adrenal gland and they would cut it up and share it among the entire tribe. Now, science is proving that the adrenal gland is really high in vitamin C. How did they know that? They didn't have some scientific research paper that says, eat the adrenal gland. They just intuitively knew that that portion of that animal was able to serve them for X, Y, and Z. And it's this felt sense with nature. And that's where we have become so stuck in our heads that we are not connected to our bodies anymore. So we don't intuitively know what's good for us, what's bad for us. So we're relying on all this objective data that's intellectualized that we can then now justify, oh, that's good for me.
Yeah, you want your Oura ring and all your gadgets to tell you like, hey, you're in the state of blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I think the intuitive sense is really important. We're just not in nature. We're not in the medium that allows us to intuit and communicate and connect to our body in that way.
Like tribes in the Amazon, they can go and talk to the plants and the plants will tell them what they're good for.
Well, and why is that? They trust the intelligence of nature and they have this relationship. It's not, the plant is not an it to them. It is a she, it is a her, it is a he. It's something that they relate to and that they live with. And if you don't have that relationship in a city or wherever you're living, then I think you do disconnect from even your own body.
Yeah. It brings me back to the conversation we had with Katie Hess.
Yeah.
And she was saying we could talk to the flowers, even the bougainvillea that's outside our door. Mm-hmm. We can talk to her and we can share what our community needs. And she will start to create those properties so that our clients are enmeshed and embodied in this aura of that field of intelligence around the plant. And how even this plant right beside me, if I have a thought of harming her, she's going to respond with chemicals, even though I'm not physically doing anything. I'm just thinking it. I'm not actually thinking it, but if I were to be thinking that, it's going to respond. So plants are so intelligent. And when we can get out of our heads, that's the key, and into our bodies, we get into this felt sense, this felt relationship with the sentient beings that are all around us.
Yeah. And think about, if you cannot access the natural world, how are you feeling safe? I mean, you would go crazy. People go crazy in a hospital. I mean, I did a hospital visit with a girl that was in the hospital for 2 weeks. She wasn't allowed outside because she's hooked up to all these machines. She has a little window, but it's facing a concrete building. And the lighting, there's no natural world for your body to go, are you alive? You're not connected to anything in nature. I mean, think about the frequency and the energy. You would go crazy in that hospital. And so, yeah, imagine if we had this level of awareness and that people that really need to be restored with that harmony in nature, we built hospitals or we built buildings and institutions with that in mind. Yeah, like how do you bring nature back into our lives?
What would you say to someone who wakes up tomorrow morning and they're feeling something uncomfortable in their body, be it physical, mental, emotional, or chemical?
Well, we're conditioned to get away from pain. So let's talk about what they would do, right? Maybe they get up and they take a hot shower, they put an ice pack on it, they take an Advil, Tylenol, ibuprofen, they take something to help with the pain because they don't want to feel pain. But what if you said, okay, how have I been moving? Ooh, how have I been using my body or not using my body? And what if I decided to do a different movement today? Like, oh, I haven't been for a walk. I'm going to just try and go for a walk. Or, ooh, I haven't really stretched or connected to my body. Let me go do that. So I think pain is a message. I mean, I had crazy hip pain a couple of weeks ago that lasted for 3 to 4 weeks. I mean, I was limping around in the studio. And instead of taking a muscle relaxer, instead of, asking you to adjust me to fix it, I just finally had to sit with it and start asking some questions about how I was moving my body and how I'm connected to that area of my body. And it's just a different way of setting up. How do I listen instead of numb it or put things on it and cover it and just put all these Band-Aids on it to make myself feel better? Like there's therapeutic benefits and then there's doing the work. And I think doing the work is really like moving toward it. I mean, it's the same thing with meditation. What do you do with discomfort? It's going to happen.
No, I think Wes talked about this so beautifully in his episode, was how we are neurologically programmed to move away from pain.
Yep.
But when an experience comes in and causes us discomfort, that's when those guarding mechanisms come in, those compensation patterns come in, we numb, we dissociate, we move away from it. But the healing is in the experience because we've created that experience for some reason. And I think this is hard for people to hear, is that they're co-creators of their life. When something uncomfortable comes in, it's really easy for me to just get mad at you and say, Keiko, stop doing this to me, right? Instead, pause and be like, oh my gosh, like what in me is creating this experience for then me to feel frustration so that I can heal an aspect of who I am.
And that's the thing. We live our lives from a state of trauma. and just wanting to like fix everything all at once instead of, well, what is your cultivating practice of healing? What is your cultivating practice of connecting to yourself? And I think to Wes's point, it's you're not building up that reservoir of just what we call parasympathetic tone. You're not building that baseline of being in nature. Look at where our baseline is now. I mean, 100 years ago, yeah, we were way more connected to nature. But now, look at how we live our lives. Look at the synthetic things we use. Look at the homes that we live in, all the EMFs. I mean, we're completely bombarding our natural body with all these, I don't know, intrusions that are creating chaos in the body. So now our baseline is here.
And one thing that I love that Wes says is we live, like you say, in these toxic worlds bombarded with physical, mental, emotional, chemical stressors. And our bodies become symptomatic as an expression of this toxic world that we're living in. And now we're angry at our bodies.
Yes.
And we're saying to ourselves, my body is betraying me. My body is part of the problem. But Wes, I mean, he says it so beautifully. This is an expression of the life that you're living. It's not there to betray you. It's there to signal to you to change the way you're living. And that's the hard thing, is knowing that, okay, it's not time to just suppress what we're feeling in our bodies. It's actually time to take an inventory of where we need to let some things go.
I'm trying to think of like the one thing in our life that moved the needle the most.
I would say it's food.
I was going to say food too.
And seeing food as information. I learned this from Aviva Ram. She said, see food as information. So if I put an apple in my body versus a chocolate bar in my body, that's very different information. And so just pausing and say, okay, is this the type of information I want to give to my cells today?
Yeah, not just, oh, this is 100 calories.
Yeah.
It's funny, we want to put numbers to everything, and it's what is the energy and the vitality of that food? Did it grow from the ground? Did it grow from a tree? Or was it synthetically modified, synthetically engineered, and created with a bunch of fillers to fill you up?
Okay, so why don't you take me back, Keiko, to how vitalism shaped how you approach the body and adjust and work with the body on a somatic level?
Like, had we not known that there's this innate intelligence that orchestrates and animates living matter, right? Essentially, there's something that keeps the body on, powers it, right? I feel like when you adjust, for me at least, I'm not connecting to just like muscles, ligaments, the vertebrae, the spine necessarily. It's the energy of the system. And you feel that. And I think, oh my gosh, when you adjust thousands of people, you start picking up on patterns and how energy feels in certain areas. You feel where energy gets stuck. You feel where energy moves, So I feel like you're just really feeling the energy. And that's super exciting because it's so different on everyone. Like, my favorite thing about what we do at Kinfolk is the first time I get to feel that person on the table. Because you get to learn so much about them. Like, we have a good 40-minute conversation just about their life, everything they've experienced. But when you feel the energy of the body and the system, and you just feel how it's connecting, how they're breathing, and then you're trying to understand, like, okay, how are these experiences shaping their body? Where is the tension being stored for a reason? What are the symptoms, and do I feel them coming through the system? It's just this really cool discovery.
Well, and I think you have a superpower in really tying everything together into a narrative that makes sense post-adjustment.
True, because you want to reframe it for them. People are coming in with their doctor told them this, or I don't know, WebMD or ChatGPT told them this. But what if you were to flip the lens from intelligence and like, the body's not doing this to you. It's not punishing you. It's giving you information and feedback. It's more of a receiving than a dictating. And I feel like that's what we do at Kinfolk is we flip that conversation in that narrative so that you're breaking the pattern of a story that someone told you that really doesn't mean a whole lot, right? They don't know you. Like, ChatGPT doesn't know you. WebMD is going to treat you like everyone else. So I think the uniqueness of what we do is we're feeling the uniqueness of the body and how that intelligence moves and how your personality is woven with it, all the experiences that you've attracted into your life that is so unique to you. And so we're not going to adjust you like we adjust everyone else.
We get asked all the time in the studio, how do you protect your energy?
The real answer is it's your relationship to yourself and how you relate to other people. And it's also your intention. Is my intention to fix you and to remove all your baggage and be the doctor that heals you? No, not at all. And I feel like I know this contrast quite well, and I think you do. My first couple of years in practice, I was trying to be that person that helped people and got them out of like their stuff. And it was exhausting and depleting. And as soon as I was like, this isn't vitalistic, this is not me taking their power away, I can't take their symptomatology away. So I think once you started relieving that and saying, you know, I'm just here to catalyze things, I'm here to hold space for you, this is your journey and I don't get to do it for you. And I think just coming from a place of love, I don't feel that exhaustion anymore. I don't feel that need to fix them all the time.
I love what Autumn used to always say, I didn't put it there, so I can't take it away.
Like, who are you to take that experience away from them? I mean, cancer is the big C word. You know, I'm not here to take cancer out of the body. What is the cancer for you? I mean, what if cancer is a signal, a spiritual transformation that is living in your body saying, hey, I just want you to love who you are. And then you're trying, like, again, I'm not giving medical advice here. I'm just saying whatever the body gives us, there's a different way of looking at it. There's a way of reframing it and asking yourself bigger questions.
Even people coming here wanting to be fixed. I mean, if we are then stepping into that role of I'm going to fix you, we are no better than allopathic medicine.
Agreed.
Where our modality is just different. And so it does come down to this paradigm shift of, wow, I'm experiencing this in my body. I want to be responsible for my experience of this in my body. And I'm inviting someone to support me and guide me, not do the healing for me.
Well, and to piggyback on that, I actually think there's people that have been with us for 8-9 years. They're not coming to be fixed. They're coming to feel something. And I feel like this podcast isn't about fixing your life. It's not about learning something and figuring out how to fix your thyroid or figure out how to fix your pelvis or your nerve system. It's about feeling differently with the information and to embody it differently. You give them that little perspective shift, you know? It's not about something happened to you. It's, well, why? And what are you making it mean? It's just, we're going a little bit deeper than I think people typically would. And I think therapists are starting to go there. Doctors are starting to go there. They're starting to ask the deeper questions of, we can talk about the root cause, right? Air quotes here. You know, the root cause, it's never like a singular, right? Like, look at the tree. It's just like, oh, where's the root of the tree? Well, let's talk about the soil that it grew in. Let's talk about all the other factors that make a tree what it is, and how that tree system develops is going to be based on the conditions that it was in. Like, I feel like that's how you become a vitalist.
In our next 20 episodes, Keiko, what do you hope most people can take away from the conversations we're going to have with people?
Well, I hope they take something inside them. They take this curiosity. They open their perspective a little bit. Like, I just want people to listen to it and go, oh, I never thought of it that way. And, ooh, now I'm curious about how I relate to that in my body. Right? Like, we're going to have a lady who makes biodynamic wine. And she is so with the land. She's harvesting right now. She's working her tail off. But it's, okay, people look at wine and it's a toxin, it's alcohol, yada, yada, yada. But how do we create this relationship with something we can grow with the earth and make very biodynamic, change the energy and composition that's in wine to drink it and to feel it differently? Like, that to me is vitalism. Vitalism is not about clean eating, never putting sugar in your body. You know what I mean? Like, it's not about wellness. This is not a wellness podcast. And I can appreciate wellness because I think the last 10 years have been like, oh, how do we create a wellness community, yada, yada, yada. But now it's like, I just want to create a community that is authentic and that is so turned on by life and how we can create more life how we can have joy, community, and not be perfect. Because you and I are the first people we are not perfect human beings. We are definitely imperfect, but we can appreciate the imperfections, and the imperfections are what make us authentically us. So I think this podcast is really about for the people that want to be on the journey of imperfection, and we just want to feel a little bit more. I want to be with people. We want to live a life that feels full, not restricted, not clean, not a wellness lifestyle. I'm like over that. I'm so over the wellness. Because you will make yourself sick trying to get well. We see it all the time.
Yeah, I hope The Vitalist stands apart, honestly, from every other podcast, because most podcasts are wellness, quick hacks, tips, that sort of thing. I'm hoping that The Vitalist creates that deep well of meaning, and that every time someone comes and listens to an episode with us, they have this profound understanding of the intelligence that's within their bodies. And they're just able to relate to themselves and the world differently. And the podcast is a tool, a perspective shift that shifts people out of a state of fear or control or seeking things that are external to them when it's been inside all along. All right, y'all. Well, we appreciate you all listening. And with the podcast, we're just trying to reach more people and have a greater impact. So if there is an episode that you listen to and you're like, wow, so-and-so could really benefit, we would love for you to share that with the people that you love, because that's what's going to create this paradigm shift in the culture and really give people their power back when it comes to their minds and their bodies.
Well, here's to becoming a vitalist.
Here's to it.
If you like this episode, share it with a friend. For more conversations filled with awe and wonder, be sure to subscribe to the Vitalist Podcast. Till next time.